Well, I have a wonderful electronic invention I want you to see.
This is James Mathers at NAB 2019 for the Digital Cinema Society and Studio Daily. I'm here at the AJA booth, and I'm going to ask Bryce Button to tell us about what's new with AJA.
Thank you. It's nice to see you again, James. So we actually have, as usual, a pretty diversified portfolio. We've come out in summary with items for IP. So we have IP transmitters that are able to take 3G SDI or HDMI sources off camera and throw them into the IP workflow as SD2110. We have new desktop software which is going to help a lot of people on the editing side with support for up to 8K with Kona 5 and ProRes encoding and decoding on Mac, Windows and Linux. So we're trying to make the workflows cross-platform work a little better for folks that like to work with Apple ProRes. We have updates for our little streaming device, the Hilo, which basically just makes working with live events a little easier in the sense you can now upload a graphic for something called AV Mute. So just before your event begins, you kind of want to hold the live feed for a little bit, put your own custom graphic up. And it's got error logging now, which allows you, to deal with streaming issues that come up as you're trying to connect to your CDN, that type of thing. So on the new product front, the main new product physically is a new recorder. It's called KiPro Go. So it's an addition to our KiPro family, and it's a little different. It records H.264 and multiple streams of it. So we have HD SD support. You have 4 3G SDI inputs, 4 HDMI inputs, and you can choose any mix you like of up to 4 channels to record at a time. Then it goes to USB sticks or drives or what have you. But there are actually 5 USB ports, 4 in the front, 1 in the back, so that you can have some redundant recording or safety capabilities. So you can assign your input to any recording channel you like and assign a backup to any channel you like. This is going to work pretty well, I think, for some proxy workflows for folks that are just wanting a run and gun H.264 version. Maybe a director wants to see something very quickly on their laptop or iPad or what have you. So what we're looking at here is a combination of KiPro Go's with each other, for instance, but also mixed with KiPro Ultra Plus. These kind of scenarios effectively get you a very high ProRes quality image, which you might be using for your main editing. And then alongside that, as you can see, you've got flashing orange amber lights on some of these units, and that's recording the 4 HD channels at a time. When you take a look at the monitor further down the wall here, you'll see that you do have the 4 quadrants, and we call this matrix monitoring. So each one of those channels can be sent to a single display, whether it's HDMI or SDI. And you have a choice there. You can say, I want to see all 4 and kind of place them in the quadrants. Or you can say, I really need to see a bit more detail, for instance, on channel 3 and just make that full screen. On the HDR front, we've been really pushing hard with it when it comes to HDR to move it along productively as fast as possible, because it has definitely been discovered that clients really see the effects of HDR and love the aesthetic. So we have 2 key products that are involved in the transforms and the analysis of HDR materials. The analysis or monitoring side, the product is the HDR image analyzer. And what we've done for this box is we've created a new web interface for that. And why that's important is it means you can literally connect in via the network connection and control and configure over Mac, Windows or Linux again. And going a step further than that, we've added remote desktop support. So if you go put the analyzer in sort of a central control area, you can actually go in with the right remote desktop software, and the entire interface is streamed to you. So this is really helpful for color grading, on-set production, where you want to make sure you're staying within generally P3 space, which is the most productive space right now. It does support BT 2020. And effectively QC, any of these kind of environments to control it remotely. The FS HDR is our most interesting box. What this does is it's a box that either transforms a single channel of 4K or up to 4 channels of HD at the same time. You can go SDR to HDR, HDR to HDR. Those are the different HDR standards like PQ, HLG, for instance, and S-Log, and even C-Log for Canon. And then it can also down convert. So if you've got an HDR production going on, you can kick out an SDR feed, and you can do both simultaneously if you want. So for that box, we've added a whole new mode, which is going to be really helpful for DITs. It's called Color Front Engine Film Mode. What it gives you is controls that you're more used to. The original mode is now called Live. So for folks that are used to working on feature productions, for instance, it gives you offset, slope, those kind of controls. We've also added ACES support, which is ACES, of course, being this great sort of agnostic color space, so that you can work and transform to ACES CCT. We've added looks, which is great fun. That gives you the ability to actually choose a look. For instance, you want a Kodachrome type look, you want a bleach bypass, and there's a ton of these, and you can actually mix them if you want. So if you want a Kodachrome with a bleach bypass, you can do what's called an A-B mix. This product has also got brand new HLG LUTs, which is really great for those doing broadcasts, and will do things like take the Netflix sort of 4,000 nit level master you might have that you play back and turn it into HLG, which is great for moving those productions to television. We have dynamic LUTs. This is a big one because it means that DIT working on set can be working in their Comfort Live Grade Pro software, and it's effectively, as you grade there, because you're trying to create a grade on set that's going to give a director an idea of where the aesthetic is going, it will send that as a continuously updating 3D LUT into the FSHDR, so you can see that applied on the live stream. You also can upload your own LUTs, and you can upload up to about 10 LUTs. So if you've got a production LUT that you guys have worked on really hard, you can look at that and coming off the camera feeds, get a great sense of what that's going to get you. And we were moving into the ASC CDL, or color decision list type controls. So over time, that's also going to offer a lot of productivity for third parties to come in and manipulate through their software, and also have that information available, which may be helpful further down the pipe.
Making all this practical, integrating everything.
Yes.
8K is terrific and HDR is terrific, but it all has to be practical.
Yeah, and we did actually come out with a new Corvid 4412G, which is 8K. Now, I'm going to be blunt about this. 8K is not something we're expecting to see on television tomorrow. But where it's really helpful is for things like pre-visualization, big effects plates. There's a lot more production happening today where you might actually drive an 8K to a projection wall as part of your scene for the shoot. And one final thing I'd like to add that's been kind of interesting in terms of our development in the last number of months is we have tie-ins to the Unreal gaming engine now. And where this becomes really powerful is, again, bringing CGI pre-visualization onto set, for instance. So our Kona card literally integrates into the Unreal Engine. You'd obviously shoot your talent against green screen, but you can manipulate it and they can act within the scene, giving a much better idea of scale and that type of thing that the actor's needing to respond to. So it's a really full package, as you can tell. If your viewers would like to learn more, simply suggest they go to aja.com, of course. We're going to watch the new page, and you can get a lot deeper into any of these topics you're interested in.
Thank you so much, Bryce.
Thank you, sir.